The podcast section.
Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
The number 12, iconic, and Devil Rays.
Here's a shot off the bat of Siri. That has carry. Gone. Home run.
Oh, and that's the way this started. The game started. Last year's only home run hitter in the playoffs gets the Rays on the board for their opening day win over the Tigers, a 4-0 win on what was an amazing day for Tampa Bay sports. A couple of big wins as the Bolts win 5-1 over the Caps, climbing within 2 points of clinching a playoff spot. If you did the double dip yesterday, like I did, it was an amazing day. Sans the traffic. But other than that, it was a beautiful day. And Nick Geddes, I say good morning to you from Outsider.com, and you were at the game as well.
Could you have asked for a more beautiful day from a sports perspective in Tampa Bay?
Driving over the bridges on a beautiful sun-splashed day, back and forth from a baseball game to an opening day baseball game to a really critical win in the playoff push for the Lightning. Yeah, that's a good day.
I mean, even this was fantastic. And I got to tell you, I thought about you this morning I was thinking about this day.
Yeah.
Because I went from your perspective yesterday. Mm-hmm. How many people had a better day than you yesterday?
It was pretty damn good.
Because we forget about this. We're privileged that we get to talk about sports for 2 hours in the morning. And then you make the trip to Tropicana Field to see opening day, a very quick opening day, might I add.
Oh, we'll get into that.
We'll get to.
We'll get into that.
Beautiful. And then you make the way back to Tampa with plenty of time to spare, I'm assuming, because of the quickness of the game.
Yes.
To see the Lightning.
Yes.
And
Despite the hour, 10-minute drive back to Tampa. Does anybody in St. Petersburg go to the games at all?
We're still figuring that out.
I think everybody comes over from Hillsborough.
We're figuring
crazy.
that out.
Both bridges packed.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably all three bridges packed.
Yeah.
Just absolutely parking lots.
Yeah.
But
and then you did the post-game show as well for the Lightning on the last call.
Caught the.
So what time?
So
you get home at around what time then?
Last night?
Yeah.
About 11:30.
See, that was one of those things I was thinking of this morning randomly. I said, for you, beginning of day to the end of day, you just get home and you go, that was a day.
It's a long day.
That was a day, but that was a cool day.
Yeah, it was a great day. I mean, it was long, but you don't think of it that way.
No, because it's fun.
I mean, it was work. It was work, but it was fun. I mean, how blessed are we to be able to do this for a living? It's amazing, and I know there's a lot of fans out there that did do the double dip yesterday. Probably wasn't cheap for a lot of people. And shout out to my boy Clayton, who got me a nice ticket for the Rays game. I wasn't going to go, and then he shot me the text during the show, and I'm like, why not? You know, I got a lot of work done right after our show, so I got over there, parked for free about a quarter of a mile away from Ferg's, and walked over there, met him, walked across. Took a little while to get in the game, but it's opening day. You expect that. No big deal. Not. I think we were in line for probably 15, 20 minutes. Our tickets didn't scan because of the ballpark app. My buddy didn't put them in the ballpark app, but we finally got it. We got in the game. It didn't take too long to get a beer. We went to the center field bar. Got a nice Cigar City High Lie. Keeping in the Tampa Bay flavor. Good thing I didn't have to pay for that. I got the third round. It was a lot cheaper than the first round. Let's just put it that way. Was it $30 for 2 beers plus tip, whatever. $20 for a hamburger and fries. It was good though. It was really good, and it was quick. Self-serve on the big self-serve boards, or you do your order.
Yeah. And
I handed the girl a ticket. She handed me my burger back. Like it was
quick.
No time.
I told you, like by the time I entered the stadium, I didn't have an issue. I walked right up and there was nobody in line. Gate 6.
Yeah. Oh really?
Yeah. I walked right in Gate 6.
What time were you there?
I got there around. I was walking in at like 2:25. Scanned my ticket.
Yeah, we got there about 2.
Scan my ticket, and that dumps out to that area there where like where the escalators are, and you have like all that food and everything.
Yeah.
And then we got food, did the touchscreen thing, got my drink, and then went up the escalator, sat in my seat. Probably 5 to 7 minutes. I did all of that.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
It was fantastic.
You know, for 25,000 people, normally when it's that crowded at the Trop, everything takes a long time.
Yeah.
So they were on it yesterday.
They were on their
game. Did really, really well.
All across the board.
New
yesterday,
scoreboard looks great. New scoreboard looks great.
Yep.
The opening was great. Big game James throwing out the first pitch. The audio system is way better. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, I did.
The cheesy banner looked good. Actually, I didn't even look up there at the banner. You pointed it out.
Well, I was there when they were unveiling it.
Leaving.
I was there when they were unveiling it. You know, which it just seemed goofy. Like we had a nice little graphic made and everything. And like, listen, if you want to put the banner up, that's fine. But we didn't need the unveiling of the banner because of the way we didn't need that. And I'm just looking at all these fans around me. Like you have all these fans around me, and they got their yeah, they got their phone out. And they're like this. They're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Look at our banner.
Look at our
banner.
Like,
we scored 1 run.
Yeah, we made an extra playoff spot just so you could get in.
I was like, you scored 1 run.
Yeah.
Me and my friends were looking at each other like, what is wrong with you people? Whatever.
That's not something to be
you
proud
enjoyed
of.
that banner raising, whatever. I enjoyed the game itself, though.
Yeah, so we're going to get into the Rays, obviously the Bolts. Beau Zimmer, the grandson of Don Zimmer, is going to join us at 11 o'clock. We're going to have some more great baseball stories like we had yesterday with the Goose Gossage. How fun was that? How fun was that interview?
That was interesting. I think interesting is the word I'll use.
Yeah, it was great.
As I digested that more yesterday.
Yeah. No, just the old head interviews just don't do it for you. Yeah. Do you feel insulted at all?
No, they were funny.
Yeah.
I mean, there were many times where he said some things, and I just had to look down. I'm like, oh my gosh, did he just say that?
Yeah. That's old school. That's old school. Some people like it, some people don't. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly, just getting that perspective. And you know what? I felt like I was watching a game from 1978 yesterday, because my God, the pace of that game was tremendous. I freaking loved it. What a breath of fresh air. And as I was walking out with everybody, you know, the concourses are so small, and you're walking out, you can't get out of the freaking building. But as we were all walking out together, everybody was talking about it. They weren't talking about the Siri home run or the Wander Franco home run. They were like, dude, it's 4:15. You know, it was 4:25 when we got out of there. An hour, 2 hours.
5:25.
Yeah, 5:20. 2 hours and 14 minutes. Glorious. And just the pace of the game. And guys were hitterish. They were ready to go.
Yep.
Like I said they were going to be. The pace of the game, it just makes everything better. I mean, it was dramatic.
Yeah.
Even though they only saved on average yesterday 21 minutes, it felt like
eternity.
Yeah.
Like I have to tell you, I've got on my soapbox for the last month about this whole thing. Boy, do I feel like an idiot because I was blown away.
I wish my kids would say that when they realized they were wrong and I was right, but they never do.
Look, I'm a man of integrity.
You are.
I'll admit that I was.
It's a great quality to have. To be able to admit you're wrong is a great quality.
I've been a stupid man for the past month on this show, on my soapbox about this pitch clock, because it was fantastic. It was to the point when whatever his name was, Sean Foley, whatever the reliever for the Tigers, he stunk, by the way. He did one little throw over to first base, and it was the only one of the entire game.
Yeah.
And I don't usually get bothered by that. You know, people around always boo. But for whatever reason, it bothered me yesterday. I was like, you are interrupting the flow of the game. And then when Bethancourt got hit in the nuts on who threw that pitch? Was it Fairbanks?
Fairbanks.
No, I did Fairbanks. We were so close to the finish line. I was like, get up, Christian. I was like, we got time. I'm like, time, let's go.
That was.
I got to the point yesterday where I was like that. That was a tough one.
Ooh,
that was a tough one. I was
That
just
hurt
like,
me.
I looked out. I'm like, can we just put Mahia in there? Like, get him off. Put
Oh my
Mahia in there.
God,
Let's
you
get
are
the game over with.
ruthless.
You've
You've gone from I don't want a pitch clock to like just take the bodies off so we can get the game over.
It was so great.
My
Like,
God.
I barely used my phone yesterday at the game.
Yeah,
And because I didn't
literally-
have time to.
I felt bad about it too because I was trying to post some stuff, and when I was trying to post it, Wi-Fi's a little slow in there. They could work on that. But when I was trying to post it, I missed 3 pitches. I'm like, what am I doing? Watch the freaking game.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
At least wait till the inning's over, but normally you can post 7 things between each pitch.
Yeah.
And now you can't do that anymore, which is glorious. And I was like, okay, I'll put my phone away. Forget it. Let me watch the game. And then you're watching the game, and it's just like
Just flew
boom,
by.
boom, 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 boom. It's fantastic. And everybody was talking about it as they were leaving the game. And it was great. And then, if you get to something like like the Lightning game, you're golden.
Yeah.
You're
There's
golden.
You had never been able to do that like last year. If there was a Lightning game at 7 o'clock,
I would
you'd
have to leave
early.
in the 7th inning. And even I told my buddy, I said, I might have to leave in the 7th inning. And it was like, nope, we can watch the whole game. It's fantastic. Unfortunately, he's my buddy Clayton is with American Mortgage Services, one of our great advertisers with Scott Fitzgerald. Scott works for him. And he was, poor guy was on his phone almost the whole game dealing with some bad loan. It wasn't a bad loan, but it was a loan that they had to really work hard to get done, and the deadline was yesterday. So here he was. That's how they do it at American Mortgage Services, folks. That's how they do it. He's at the game, spent $600 on 4 tickets, and he was on his phone getting the deal done for his client. How about that? That's what I'm. There's a live read right there for American Mortgage Services. They will stop at nothing to get your loan done promptly. So there you go. Way to go, Clay. We appreciate you, man. That was real fun. And Larry and little Clayton, our whole group was just really, really fun. And we were, and you know what's great about baseball, even though it was a fast game, both of my friends, their fathers had passed in the past month. So we had this great conversations about dads and good dads and bad dads and loving your dads, and dads are important. And I'm like, man, this is awesome.
It's
We're
baseball.
sitting there drinking a beer, we're talking about our dads and baseball, and our dads, how my dad never brought me to a baseball game until I was a lot older, but that was okay. I'm not bitter at all, can you tell? He brought me to my first game, a Dodger game, when I was like 17 years old, so not bad. Not bad. But I can still taste that Dodger dog, by the way. That was the greatest hot dog I ever had in my life. But I digress. Yeah, and that's what baseball is. You can sit and have a conversation, although it was a little bit harder with the pace of the game. I will say that. But it was a great day. It was a great day.
Yeah, in general, yesterday across the board, Major League Baseball, I thought we were wondering what's going to happen now with the WBC. Are we able to keep this momentum up? I mean, you're never going to match the excitement of something like that, necessarily. But I thought from the entire day, they nailed it. They nailed it.
Yeah.
And it was really the pace of the play that helped it.
Yeah.
I sat down and watched the entire Chicago and Astros game last night.
Yeah.
I never really randomly go out of my way to watch
telling
other
you,
teams play, but I did.
Baseball attendance has been declining every year for a while. I'm going to make a bold prediction that baseball attendance will be back this year. Not to where it was, but it will tick back up. I don't think there's any question about it. The only question is now, why did you wait so long to do this? We've been bitching about this for so long. And it's like, and I think it's great. It was great to have Goose on yesterday because, it's like when we asked him about it, he said, we didn't need no effing pitch clock because we don't get paid for overtime. Let's get in the box.
Yeah.
The players policed it themselves. If there were guys like stepping out of the box and doing the stuff they used to do, the players would not let you back in the dugout. Like, what are you doing, bro? Get in the box. Let's go. I ain't got time for this. They all want to get to the bar. Mm-hmm. Let's go. And so, then it became this thing where managers were like, no, if it's going poorly, step out of the box, slow the pitcher's rhythm down, and get control of things. And that was a strategic move. And I'm not here to say it didn't work, because at times it would work. It was like giving unlimited timeouts to a basketball coach. Mm-hmm. And if the basketball coach had unlimited timeouts, every time a team went on a 4-point run, he'd call timeout. Yeah. That's why we have to have, they cut those timeouts in half as well. But the action of the game, and was there any point that I feel like somebody wasn't ready to hit? I mean, I'm not in the box. So
no,
I
even the pitch clock is in center field. I don't even know how many times I ever even looked at it.
Right.
Truthfully.
Yeah, I looked at the beginning of the game. I was watching it, but then I realized, hell, these guys they're actually delivering the
guys are
pitch
just ready
with
to
about
go.
7 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
They were moving even faster than the pitch clock. So it has just instituted a framework of which these players can now feel, get into the rhythm. And I'm going to tell you, I guarantee you 95% of the players are going to love it. At first, it's going to take a while to get used to. I get it. But most of the players are going to love it.
Yeah. I think I've come around to all these things that, like, when Major League Baseball makes a change, I, a traditionalist, have gotten up in arms about all of it.
Yeah.
But it was, like, little things, and I even looked around yesterday. Like, I remember whenever they went up with the whole screens to, like, protect the fans and all that after one fan got hit.
Yeah.
Like, I looked at that, and I said, I raised my arms about that. I was like, why are we putting screens up? This is weird.
I don't want to look through a screen.
And now it doesn't even matter, right?
Yep.
Even when they do, like, the pitch checks now for, like, the attack and all that.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to that crap anymore.
No.
So, like,
although I think, I don't know what Shane was doing, but that seemed to take an inordinate amount of time the first time he came off the hill.
Yeah, maybe, but I didn't even, like, notice it. Even when I'm watching on TV, it doesn't bother me. Like, I don't know. My point is, it's like I'm going to start being more open-minded to these things because I've realized when they make these changes, I tend to not even notice them anymore.
Yeah. And these are dramatic changes, and baseball doesn't typically do that, but it is good for the game. It is good for the game, and it's not because, I think so many people say, well, you're wrecking tradition. Well, this wasn't the tradition of the game. It was never played. It was never meant to be played like this. We bastardized the game. It's like, like how these coaches are bastardizing overtime hockey.
Yeah.
Where now they're playing for the last shot. Just keep the puck and play for the last shot. That's not what overtime hockey was meant to do. So you know what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to put a shot clock on overtime hockey because we can't. You guys can't be trusted. You coaches. And I get it. It's a sound strategy. It is a sound strategy. I get it. But it's not good for hockey. It's not good for the game. It's not good for the fans. And in the end, it's for the fans. It's entertainment. So they need to pay attention to that. They need to pay attention to that. No question about it. All right, let's get into let's get a couple comments here from some people at the game. Richie P. I had seats, but the game went so smoothly. I never sat down, just stood by center field and watched the whole game from there. I heard it was really crowded in center field, Richie P. Like
it looked crowded. I did not. I sat down in my seat and I didn't get up for the rest of the game.
Were the
so I didn't walk
ballpark?
around.
Were the ballpark $49 a month tickets? Were they part of opening day, or does that not start till Sunday?
I think it starts till Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but that was packed out there. Richie also says it was a great game. My goodness, the pitch clock was what we needed. It's unbelievable. Jeremy Lowe said, my first opening day was awesome. Watching Wander hit a home run was the best raise up. Yeah, I mean, what more could you want? Wander hits a home run. Had a couple of nice plays in the field, too.
Yep.
Manny Margot, the catch that he made. Oh, my God. That's a game saver. That's an absolute game saver. Do we have that one?
Yep.
All right. Bally's, courtesy of Bally Sports Sun. This is 2 outs, 2 on.
A little bit.
O'Shea comes on.
Up the right side, the other way toward the line. Margot stretches out, makes the catch. Unbelievable grab. That ball was headed for the corner with some slice on it. And Margot makes an outstanding grab.
Yeah, both those runners are going to score.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
2 outs. I mean, that's a huge play. It's a game saver.
Yeah.
It's a game saver.
Well,
So you got great pitching, great defense, 2 home runs, timely hitting, a pinch hitter gets a knock, and Luke Raley, who comes up and Cash pushes the right buttons.
It was a Rays baseball game.
And Rosarena, your star, gets an RBI as well.
This was a Rays baseball game.
Yeah.
That was a Rays baseball game.
That
Now,
absolutely was.
could I have asked for a little bit more hitting? Sure. But they didn't need it.
Nope.
Necessarily. Because,
Nope.
I mean,
4 runs is enough offense.
4
for
runs
me
enough
for a
offense.
baseball game.
For this.
You don't have to score 7.
For this pitching staff?
Yeah.
Against that lineup yesterday for Detroit?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Miggy's hitting 6th in the lineup.
He was at 7th in the
7th
lineup,
in the
actually.
lineup, yeah.
Not a great lineup for Detroit, but I thought they coasted to the game, the Rays, honestly. They coasted through that game. I thought it was really easy for them. Eventually, they were going to break through hitting-wise. And how about the 3 guys I mentioned yesterday? Wander, Randy, and Jose Siri. I said those are the 3 most exciting guys in this lineup.
You nailed it.
And are going to be the guys to make plays. And what did they all do? They all made plays.
Yep.
And
all knocked in runs.
Jose Siri, to me, I know he struck out twice in the game, but my goodness. Talk about replacing Kevin Kiermaier.
He smoked that ball.
Kevin who? I've forgotten about Kevin Kiermaier.
110 exit velo.
110.
He smoked that ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a blast.
And he has
No
so much
doubter.
swag to him, man.
He does.
Tell me.
I like it.
I'm telling you,
I
Randy
like it.
in left and him in center
There's a lot of
is
swag.
swag
There's a
central.
lot
I mean,
of
did you see
swag.
Randy too? Like I saw like it was getting loud in left field. He turned around and did the signature pose.
Yeah.
He's embracing it, man.
Oh, sure. And and when he got the RBI,
Yeah.
he turned to the crowd on first base and did the
and
whole dugout did the
There were Mexican flags
I did not see
in the
that.
stadium. They showed one on the big screen. They
Nice.
went around. There was multiple Mexican flags in the big screen. There were a lot of Hispanic people sitting next to me, and I think there were people from Mexico who were also near me. And every time Randy came up, they were going crazy and everything. And I was talking to some of them, and they were like, yeah, like we really weren't baseball fans, and we started watching the thing, and we
There you
noticed
go.
Randy. And I was
There
like,
you go.
It works. There you go. It works. Because the lady sitting next to me, she said she had never been to a game before until yesterday.
Never been to a Rays game?
No.
There was a couple of guys sitting next to me that this was their first Rays game too, and an older gentleman who doesn't listen to the show but know me from just watching sports around here. And he's like, "You got a show?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got a show." He goes, "Oh." I go, "Do you listen to podcasts?" He goes, "No, I don't listen to podcasts. I don't do podcasts." I go, "Do you know how?" He was in, probably late 60s. He's like, "Of course I know how." I said, "Well, listen to the show and tell me what you think." I said, "If you're a big sports fan, if you're a Tampa Bay sports fan, you'll like it. I think you'll like it." So hopefully, I told him to hit us up on social media. You know what social media is? And so no, and it's just a stranger I just met, and they sit a couple seats down. We had great conversations, great folks around us, except this one a-hole. Every time Austin Meadows got a hit, he yelled out, "We never should have traded you."
Oh, there's always that dude.
Yeah,
There's always that dude.
That was me.
Was that you yesterday? Of course it was.
That was me, because I'm right. Of course, I waited until he got his first hit to say it. If he just struck out 4 times, I wouldn't have said it. What was he, 3 for 4?
He was 3 for 4, yeah.
Yeah. He's going to have a big year. And think about our lineup with the old Austin Meadows in it. Would have been better last year.
Think of our lineup.
And
think
really
of our
good
lineup this year with Isak
But he wouldn't have made that catch in right field, though.
No, he would not.
He
Did you
might
see
have
the
been
one that Randy blistered towards him? Mm-hmm. He looked a little uneasy over there and left.
Mm-hmm.
He looked just a little bit uneasy.
Well, that was a smoke show.
That was a
ball.
smoke show by Randy.
I don't know what the exit velo on that one was, but it was well over 100.
That was 114.
What that one was?
Yeah, that was harder than what Siri hit.
Yeah, that was a smash. That could have been deep into the beach up there. All right, so before we get to the Lightning, couple more nice little bits. How about the Wander home run? Batting from the right side early on, had a hit, and I believe he had a hit.
Yep.
And then batting from the left side, this was easy power, bro, to the deepest part of the ballpark. This is crazy.
Fly ball drilled back into center. Got some carry on it at the wall, and that baby is gone.
I did not think that was getting
Home
out.
run toward left center field. Green just ran out of room, and Wander Franco got great carry on that one to hit it out.
That's some underspin on that one, courtesy of Bally Sports Sun. That was easy.
You
power.
have to really connect. As a left-handed hitter, you have to really connect on one to get it out in that part of the ballpark.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was easy power. And what have we been saying? What is Wander? This is a big thing. This is a good start. What is Wander Franco going to be? Is what we keep saying. Is he going to be that kind of guy that hits, 320, 330, a lot of singles and stuff like that? Or is he going to be a guy that can get into the 20 to 30 home run range? Where I think the Rays would preferably love for him to be, obviously.
Well,
what's he going to be?
If he's going to be compared to Fernando Tatis, which he has been, we need 30 at least.
Just get me in a 20 to 30. If you can hit 315, here's your 320 like we think he's going to do, that would be great. I mean, even the first one was just
he does that, we might end up paying him.
He's already paid, JP.
No, he's not already paid.
He's already paid.
No, he's not.
He's already paid.
Not by the Rays.
All right.
But he might be. He might be. He keeps playing like this. Maybe we'll even keep him. You never know. You never know. How about a Randy RBI? You got a Randy RBI for me? This one was well placed as well. And you know what? Rosarena looks more dangerous up there, just because I know he's seen the scouting report. He's actually read it.
Randy shoots it up the middle. Base hit into center. Here comes Walls. He's going to score, and the Rays lead 2-0.
You know what? As I look at that one, maybe that was a shift ball as well.
It might have been.
That could have been a shift ball.
It might have been, even though he hit it so hard. I think maybe he would have had a chance to get through. But yeah, Randy
Luke Raley's and Randy's could have been shift balls.
They could.
Balls
Luke Raley's, absolutely.
Yeah, Luke's is probably a double play.
And that was an inning, by the way, that Kevin Cash pushed all the right buttons.
Yeah,
where Yandy got on with a 4-pitch walk, I believe, and then he pinch hits Yandy in the 6th inning.
Yeah.
He pinch runs for him for Taylor Walls. I mean, it's one of your better players, and now here comes Taylor Walls. Because Yandy doesn't score on that play. I don't think so. The ball was hit so hard to center.
Probably not.
He probably doesn't score, so that gets the run home. And then Luke Raley goes up there and pitch hits for, I want to say it was Harold Ramirez right after.
Yep.
And he's able, broken bat, to stick it out there and to right. So Kevin Cash pushing the right buttons on opening day yesterday.
He's such a good man.
Although he loves playing with fate. He loves playing with fate.
What do you mean?
I looked down after McClanahan had 87 pitches through 6, and he went through the 6 really easy. And I'm like, okay, maybe they'll give him an inning, maybe not. They decided not to. They had Thompson warming up and Beeks, I believe. And then all of a sudden, I see Thompson putting his sweatshirt back on. Beeks is sitting down. And who starts warming up?
Your
boy, Colin Poche. And I'm like, oh.
If not for Margot's catch, he's given up 2-3 runs.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was giving to. Kevin Cash loves playing with that kind of stuff because I don't think he was sharp yesterday. He was probably the only thing that wasn't sharp yesterday, I thought, for the Rays.
No, and, not everybody's going to be.
Not everybody's going to be, but just because he lost a lot of games last year at the end of the year by putting Poche in big moments, I was just like, ugh.
Stop that.
Please stop doing that.
And we'll hear from Sugar Shane here. Let's hear from Cash first, but Sugar Shane did not want to come out of the game after 87 pitches, but you're up 3-0. We're okay with that one. We're okay.
We'll start with Shane. He did not disappoint. How strong was he through 6 innings for you guys?
Really good. I thought he threw some balls. Kyle referenced like a couple errant fastballs up, but you would expect that on opening day. But he was able to harness it, get it back in the zone, made just a lot of really quality pitches, and gave us a start that we will never complain about. 6 innings, no runs. We'll sign up for it every night.
From Siri to Randy to Raley to Franco, how pleased were you with the way the offense produced today?
Good. I mean, look, Rodriguez threw a good ball game for them. Siri got us on the board, and then liked how we kind of pieced together that inning between Randy and Isak's hits. Guys got on base at the right time, and then Wander at the end. That was pretty impressive. Chose the deepest part of the ballpark for the home run.
Any words to describe Margot's catch?
Healthy. He looks healthy. That was kind of the Manny that, before he got injured, that's what he did. And Kyle, I look back at Kyle, and he's like, I've seen him make a lot of game-saving catches, and that would have been multiple runs right there. But the closing speed on that was certainly play of the day.
If you kind of look at how you did it, it seemed like kind of your way of winning ball games. Strong starting pitching, a couple clutch hits when you needed them.
Yeah.
Great defensive play, good relief work. Is that kind of the?
That's what we worked on all spring.
Yeah, I noticed
all those right there.
Yeah, I noticed.
No, it was. It was a very, I think certainly the starting pitching sets the tone. Mac did that. Took us a little bit to get going offensively, but a lot of confidence in this group that we're going to get some guys on base and we'll come up with some big hits, and then we're going to play pretty clean baseball behind our pitchers.
Gotcha. So just like you planned it then.
Yes. Yeah.
Team depth. Everybody got on base except Manny. Manny made the big catch. A lot of guys helped out.
Yeah, there were a lot of good at bats. Early on, you never know what you're going to get on opening day. I think Saturday we'll see some guys settle in on both teams. You see some early swings, maybe expanding a little bit more just because they're overly amped up. But after that first time through the order, second time felt like they looked a little bit more like themselves, and we were piecing together big at bats.
Talked about Siri's speed, but that's some pretty impressive power when he gets a hold of one too, right?
Yeah, I mean, when we acquired him last year, a lot of people talked about his power. We saw a little bit of it, but I don't think we saw the power that he's shown throughout his career. So I would expect that, with some good at bats and the work that he's put in, we might see him run into a couple more balls. But I was encouraged with he laid off some tough pitches throughout the game. I know he struck out 1 or 2 times, but they were in the zone. He'll make the adjustment on those pitches in the zone.
Kevin, how about Luke Raley in his first opening day coming up with that big RBI?
Yeah, it was good. You want to see a guy transition from a great spring into a big opportunity met kind of an opening day or whenever he got his chance, and he did. He came up and opened the game. I think made us 3-0 at that point.
Talking about all the facets of this game, a shutout, a diving catch, home runs. Could you have imagined a better show for a sellout crowd?
No, that was a pretty good game. Mark said it best. A very Rays-like win. I mean, we'll sign up for those types of wins a lot.
You've had a lot of good players over the years, but Randy,
has a personality that we haven't seen a whole lot of. Just how much fun is it to watch the guy play?
I've seen a lot of it. It's a lot of fun to watch Randy. I mean, he's got the left field fans going crazy out there. Just the personality, the character, the way he embraces his role on this team, maybe his role in this community a little bit with how the fan base has just grown to love him for good reason, because he's a really good player, but he's a really he's just a good guy to have in the clubhouse, and certainly when he's doing special things, he enjoys doing it and can express himself in the right way.
In the bullpen.
Yeah, kind of lined up pretty well with Colin, Jason, and Pete. I don't know if I saw Jason Adam pitch this spring. I did.
Probably not for your team.
Yeah, so just on TV for the Team USA. So good to see him back in a Rays uniform pitching.
Gotcha. And just overall, the scene opening day, you wore the throwbacks, the pregame stuff. What did you just think overall of the day? I thought,
well, our fans were tremendous. It was loud. I thought everybody that kind of planned how the interest is, I mean, that gets the guys hyped up a lot. They did a good job with that. A lot of the videos were really cool, well done. Our new scoreboard looked good. So all in all, just a really fun day to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. Could not have scripted it a whole lot better than it went for the Rays. No question about it. If there was any controversy at all, it's your boy Sugar Shane didn't want to come out of the game.
Of course he
Dude,
did.
It's opening day. Will you relax? Well, but I love that dude's edge.
Oh, he's same
he
thing
just
with
wants the ball.
Same thing with Glasnow.
Pitch.
The same thing.
He's got a little goose gossage in him.
Yeah,
Sugar
he's
Shane
got
does.
that dog in him.
He certainly does.
But and I think too, I don't think he had his best stuff when the game started. Maybe first 3 innings, he was kind of fighting command a little bit. But man, I mean, I thought 4th inning, 5th inning, 6th inning, he really started to find his stuff.
99 consistently.
Yeah, I thought he found his off-speed pitches from the 4th to the 6th inning, I thought. And that's when I was thinking, I kept looking at it, I'm like, oh, do they maybe want to give him another inning? Because he feels like he's in the groove right now.
You're good.
But you had the 3-0 lead. There was no need to push it. It's opening day.
Plus, all your relievers are fresh.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just really no reason to
And
do
if you looked around Major League Baseball yesterday, there was a lot of aces who got lit up yesterday. Yep. A lot of aces got lit up yesterday.
Shohei Ohtani was not one of them.
No.
Did you see the catch by Hunter Renfroe?
Oh, my goodness. I think that was better than the Margot catch.
I think it was. And it wasn't. And it was great because it was awkward.
It was so,
if you haven't seen it, he breaks on a ball in right field, and the ball starts tailing to the center field side. Yeah. So he gets turned around, and he's going back this way, and he just goes like this. Right?
Yeah.
He wasn't even looking at it.
It was so clean though. At the same time,
yeah, it was so clean. Right. It was just like he meant to do it. He's running back and he's like, "Oh crap! I turned the wrong way," and the ball just goes right in his glove. And I'm like, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah, that might have been the play of the day.
That was
potentially
amazing.
But speaking of Ohtani, by the way, did you hear about the stat with Ohtani?
Oh, what is it? He's the first.
10 strikeouts and no earned runs given up in 6 innings. Only gave up 2 hits. That has only happened 26 times since 1901 on opening day.
Yeah.
And the Angels are the first team to ever lose.
Yep.
Does that we were talking about the Angels yesterday briefly.
Angels. Way to go, Angels.
Like it sums it up perfectly.
And to me that's the hallmark of an organization that is cheap. Even though they paid some big time players, they're like they're not sending their broadcasters on them, but just notoriously cheap and just one of the worst run franchises, and that's what you get.
It's just hilarious.
He can't get out of there
I can't tell you how many times I've seen this thing on Twitter where it's like Shohei Ohtani is the first this to do that as the Angels lose 8-3 or something. It's always that, or like Mike Trout hit 2 home runs. Shohei Ohtani hit a home run and threw 7 shutout innings, but the Angels bullpen blew it and they lost.
First time in history.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen that headline. Shohei's got to get out of there. Got to get out of there, and they got to get the freaking A's out of Oakland. That was embarrassing yesterday. The attendance they had, embarrassing.
Yeah, you think it's bad in St. Pete? That is embarrassing.
The new game for this year is Name an A. Name an A.
I have no idea who they have on their team.
There you go.
Yeah, that's just bad for baseball. They can't get to Vegas fast enough. All right, let's hear from Sugar Shane as we run our Rays through here.
6 innings for you. How strong did you feel out there today?
I felt good. I made a lot of good pitches, made some bad pitches, but ultimately first start of the year, I thought it was a success.
How much?
Go ahead.
No, you're still talking.
Guys behind me made a lot of great plays, and the offense showed up, and it was a good team win.
I know Poche was on the mound for this, but that Manuel Margot catch, how could you possibly describe that?
I was watching it in the training when I was doing my shoulder care, and Joe saw it before I did, and he screamed. I'm like, "What did you just see?" And then I saw him, like, "Wow, that was a great play. It was a really good play."
It's good to see the offense produce out there on the first day of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys have been working their butts off, and it's just hopefully just the start.
How'd you feel after 6?
I felt good. I felt really good. Obviously, first start of the year, don't want to do too much, but I felt good, and I thought it was a good start to build off of.
Did you think it was 6 pretty much? Did you think you'd go more, or did you think, how was the going in? What was the game plan?
Truthfully, I have no clue how many pitches I threw. 87. Arm felt really good. I think, later in the season, I probably would have wanted to go back out there, but, first game of the year, I understand and the thought process of everything, and I felt good.
Speaking of, how does it feel to take in, opening day, all the fanfare? Again, you get the start.
It was awesome. For the first time in quite a bit, I felt butterflies, and it was really cool. It was, opening day, the fans were there, and it was awesome. That's the best way I can describe it.
Shane, what's it like pitching knowing that the offense is going to be there at some point? In every game, it seems like that they have that potential.
Yeah, it definitely helps you on the mound where you don't have to feel like you have to be so perfect and make every pitch perfect, like I just said. And I think it's just a start. These guys healthy, the way they've been working, the way they're seeing the ball. I think it's going to be a fun year for all of us.
Yeah, he wasn't too pissed off, but that's great. He understands. You got to come out of the game.
You got to fall in line,
Yeah.
Speaking of post-game beers, I spy a Corona right there in his dugout, in his little. I spy a Corona, and it's about half full with a lime sitting at the top.
Attaboy.
So it sounds like he got interrupted.
Yeah.
From drinking his post-game Corona.
Yeah.
But
good
you
for
know
him.
what? When you have a 2-hour and 14-minute game.
That ain't his first. I'll
No.
just put that way. I hope not, anyway. I hope that's not his first. You come out in the 6th inning. Yeah. How much did he pay for that, you think? Kidding. Not as much as I paid for mine. Let's just put it that way.
Are we paying for soda? If I go into the Rays clubhouse, do I have to put a quarter in for soda?
Who was the owner that put a soda machine in there and the players had to pay for it?
Well, it was in Moneyball, which I'm going to assume was real. It was Oakland.
Yeah, that's right.
Because there's the scene in Moneyball where David Justice is like clicking the button, and they were like, "It's $1, DJ," and he's like, "For soda?"
That sounds like something Namoli would have done. Yeah,
but also I learned this. Did you see the Mike McDaniel clip this week when he was at the owners meetings, and they were there's always like about bench reporters, they ask weird questions, and somebody mentioned like the Commanders are worth $6.5 billion or whatever. You had some time there, and he heard the number $6.5 billion, Mike McDaniel, and he goes, "Really? They're worth that much?" And he goes, "Wow." And I couldn't even get free coffee when he worked there. But I'm like, listen to the teams we're talking about here. Oakland, the Commanders. Like, it's the most on-brand things.
What's unbelievable about this is the expenses, the coffee. What does that cost? A coffee service. That's like $30 a month, $50 a month. It's nothing. You're paying guys $240 million guaranteed in the NFL. And it's like, you can't do coffee service for your players and coaches?
Apparently
are you
not.
serious?
Apparently not.
Are you like you can't? I mean, even the broadcasting thing. I guess the Rays are cutting down their road broadcasts as well, and having guys do it from the studio.
I think part of that though was Dwayne trying to take a step back a little bit though.
Yeah.
I think he said.
Yeah, I'm not for it at all. Not for it at all. There's a special. The broadcasters need to be in the stadium. They need to be able to talk to the players, especially on these long road trips, where there's ebbs and flows, and you get down there by the batting cage and you talk to the players and get all the scoop. That's you ain't getting that from sitting in a studio in St. Petersburg.
No.
So, but I don't know if that's a team thing or if that's a Bally's
thing. Could be
a
Bally thing.
Because Bally's actually, I'm not contracts are different, but just typically, the network absorbs the cost of production, which would include travel, but then the guys travel with the team, so it's kind of intermingled. So I don't know who's being cheap here, but it just doesn't seem right. Yeah. But it's one of those things. Well, we did it during COVID and it worked, so why not keep doing it? Because we're not in COVID anymore. right?
It's just in general though. Those three things are funny.
Yeah.
The Angels are cutting cost, right? Because their owner is weird, and then the Commanders and A's are making.
You're going to save enough money to pay Ohtani $600 million. Yeah, you're really going to. Yeah, that's going to put a dent in it. Yep, no question about it. All right, couple other. Let's do some comments on the Rays, and then we'll move on. We'll take a break and then move on to the Bolts. Any other ones you hear? See that
somebody brought this up, asked me if I ended up getting my jersey yesterday.
Did you?
I did not get my jersey, but I had no reason to get my jersey because I believe I told you the other day when I mentioned the whole story.
Yeah.
With my father-in-law, and I mentioned it jokingly. I was like, he ratted me out. And 30 minutes later, he was listening that day as well.
Yeah.
30 minutes later, he texted me saying that he had ordered a Shane McClanahan Devil Rays jersey for me, and it was on the way because he felt bad that I ratted him out, or that he ratted me out or whatever. And I was completely joking.
Right.
But he ended up buying the jersey. So I actually had no reason to buy the jersey yesterday.
Good.
So thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Your in-law is actually helping out the marriage.
I'm going to take it that you can't relate.
No, cannot. No.
And we don't have to go down that route.
No.
We don't need to go on that route.
No, we certainly don't. Blake Snell, Richie P points out, had 9 strikeouts yesterday.
Yeah, he was out yesterday. They lost the game.
Yeah. That trade was no good. Lonnie says he lives up in Chicago, watching the Cubs and the Rays pregame yesterday. The Rays crew just blows the Cubs pregame and many teams out of the water. Hey, they don't win Emmys for no reason. I didn't watch the pregame show. I didn't see Matt Joyce and Denard Span, but knowing them as I do, I bet they were phenomenal. Of course, Dougie Wechter, tremendous. We missed the Big O. Arestis, not on the team anymore, and we miss him. And by the way, thoughts and prayers going out to Big O. I know he's had some issues with his wife's health and family health. And, brother, we're with you, and we're always praying for you, and we're always thinking about you, man. So, but, just a great broadcast. Tricia was walking up through the down the aisle where I was sitting, and everybody was – she's a rock star, man. She is a rock star at Rays games, man. She's got to say hello to everybody. I don't know how she gets through there, but she does a great job. The whole team does a fantastic job, and I know it was a tough day in the radio booth yesterday without Dave Wills, and listened to a little bit of the post-game show on the way home, and Neil's still doing the post-game show, so he's doing double duty. But just it's such a hole. It's just
really
huge
is.
hole. Just got so used to listening to his voice, and it's great to hear Neil and Andy, and they're great. It's just that's going to take a while to get used to.
It's the same thing thing how we're going to ask ourselves this year, because I don't think is Gene retired. He's retired, right? I don't think he's doing this year for the Bucks.
I don't know. I haven't heard yet. I saw Jeff Ryan the other day. I should have asked him.
But it's the same thing, because we know Gene is probably. How much longer does he have, or he might be done already?
Well, like listening to FSU games this year, it's just weird.
It's gonna be that's gonna be such an adjustment too.
Yeah.
And Dwayne's stats, we know he's probably getting closer to where he doesn't have many years left doing this. It's just a lot of change, and these are voices that at least for me, it's been the only voices I've heard.
Yeah.
And you become like it's in the fabric of the franchise, really.
Yeah.
And you could tell yesterday, like everybody there was excited to celebrate Dave Wills' life.
Yeah. Yeah, and we did, and God bless him and God rest his soul and the family. I saw some tweets from his wife, and the whole family was there. It's just tough. If there was a downside to the day, that was it. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side, and we'll get into the Bolts. And Beau Zimmer is going to join us at 11 o'clock, a longtime reporter at Channel 10, grandson of Don Zimmer. He's got some great stories. Zim's going into the Hall of Fame on Sunday. And we've got some details on that. You got to get that Zim bear. Got to get that. If you don't have one, you got to get one. The bobblehead, another legend in the game to talk about. But we'll do the Bolts when we come back. Big win. Stay with us. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms. And let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by, never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Personal attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law Group, you will be part of the family. They will represent you in a vigorous and aggressive way against the insurance companies. These larger companies will promise bigger settlements, but it's the Jeeves Law Group that will get you the best results. If you're tired of dealing with these bigger law firms, check out the Jeeves Law Group. Go to JeevesLawGroup.com, tell them JP sent you, get a free consultation. It's the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves has been representing clients in the Tampa Bay area for over 25 years. Give them a call. It's a free call, 727-894-2929, 727-894-2929, or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. Hey guys, JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. There is no better place to shop for jewelry than the Gold and Diamond Source. We know that. They are the family jewelers, and they will treat you like family. It's always a fun experience. Just head on over there. You will not find a better selection anywhere in the world. It's a jewelry super center. They've got engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, pendants, chains, and thousands of diamonds to choose from. They're all right there. They don't have to ship anything in. They have jewelry for every price range as well. Guys, if you're looking for some of those baller watches, they have a great selection. They have new and used. You can get some great collectibles there as well. And if you're looking for some more affordable gold and diamond jewelry, you have to check out the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Emily created this collection for people who want to wear and stack elaborate jewelry but don't want to pay the big ticket prices. You got to check this stuff out. The Gold and Diamond Source has plenty of options to accommodate any budget, interest-free financing for up to 5 years, and a layaway program, 20% down and only 6 monthly payments. And this month only, get up to 15% off the March birthstone, which is aquamarine. Like we always say, keep it local, folks. The Gold and Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub, such great philanthropic benefactors. So let's keep it all local here when we have the opportunity, right? It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. I've got a little business to send them over there at the JeevesLawGroup.com, which I'm not willing to talk about on air, but maybe someday when it all gets done. Some people in this business will drive you bananas. And Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Our good friend Chris Lugo, he was not able to join us on Monday. I'm not at liberty to really say exactly. I got to clear it with him. I'll let him talk about it when he comes on with us next week. But he's fine. He's going to be okay. Involved in a little fender bender. more than a little fender bender. Showed me the pic. I haven't showed it to you yet. Holy heck! But this is what happens when you're healthy and strong. You come through things a lot better. So there's all the more reason to be healthy and strong. So go to Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. So many great things they do there, nutrition-wise. They'll get you. They'll clean up your diet, which in this day, and we talk so much about it with Chris because he has that nutrition degree, many degrees in nutrition from the University of Florida, and knows so much about it. And it's absolutely crucial to what we put in our bodies and what it means for our health and our longevity. And so that's something they can help you with your diet, clean it up, because once you understand what you should be eating, it's a lot easier to do it. So get the information. And also, that goes hand in hand with weight loss. Their weight loss programs there are fantastic. They've got all the latest tricks and things and therapies that are working these days. So you can get that. Got a bunch of friends that are working with him on that. And the True Body system as well. So you can get hooked up to that thing, and it will give you some abs like you've never had before. So if you want to get healthy, you want to look your best, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center is the place to go, BAMMC.com. All right, the Bolts last night. I got there. It was weird because I went to the game. I didn't have to be there for pregame because Casey was doing it. Was gender equality night. So Casey was doing my job. We had I don't have the girl's name right now, but they're filling in for Greg and Paul Porter. So great night last night for the ladies to get their shot. They did a great job. But it was weird, like walking into the game. I was actually watching the first period at home. Got home from the game. I could chill a little bit, give Tally a nice walk, And I'm like listening to Brian, my partner on the postgame show, calling the game. I'm like, this is just weird. It's a home game, and I'm watching it here. It's just weird. But it was, a clinical execution of their game plan that started with Boston 3 games ago. Last 3 games, Vasi has saved 93 of 96 shots. They've given up 3 goals, and the goal they gave up last night, Craig Smith got from behind the net, was just a complete fluke goal that, got it off of Vasi's skate, the back of his skate, and put it in the goal. So, whatever. They've gotten back to playing really, really good defensive hockey, taking care of their own end, knowing exactly what they have to do, and executing that. In the third period, they did the same thing. And this is with Alex Ovechkin and a Washington team that was absolutely desperate because they had to win last night. They're now 7 points behind Pittsburgh for that last spot. So that was a desperate team, and the Lightning just dismantled them. And it was so good to see. Patty Maroon got a couple of goals last night, playing on line with Cirelli and Killorn. So Coop's mixing up the lines a little bit here as we get down to the playoffs now. Just 6 games to go for the Lightning. 4 of them are going to be at home, or 3 of them. Yeah, 4 of them are going to be at home. So yeah, these are good signs. We said last week, they have it in them. There's obviously the talent. They know how to do it. My concern was, do they have the physical and emotional stamina after this now 4-year run to deep into the postseason to get it going? And at least for these last 3 games, that's what we've seen. It's been clinical.
Yeah,
fantastic.
We go back to this whole thing about the switch. Can they get that switch going and flip it the right way in time for playoffs? And for these 3 games against Boston, Carolina, and Washington, like you mentioned, really good competition. I mean, you start with Vasilevsky, .969 save percentage in 3 games.
Ooh, that'll play.
I mean, if this is the playoffs, the Lightning are up 3-0 in a series
That's
right now. Okay?
Absolutely.
And
even though they lost to Boston, I would,
Okay, most nights they're winning all those games, right?
Yep.
Similar to how we said yesterday, the Rays, that was a Rays victory.
Yep.
That was a typical Lightning victory last night. I don't think they chased the game and let it come to them. I thought they honestly could have even scored more if they wanted to.
Oh, Kemper was fantastic.
But Kemper was fantastic
really
in that
good.
for
Vasi
Washington.
was good, but he was really good.
He stole some from the Lightning. But even dirty goals like Maroon was sticking himself in there. And listen, Patty Maroon is all of a sudden his spot is not guaranteed to play every night in the playoffs. It's not.
Well, I thought it was interesting that Cooper put him on the line with Cirelli and Killorn.
It was interesting, and I don't know, trying to get Pat Maroon going a little bit. I mean,
well, as we talked, Brian and I talked on the postgame show last night. He compliments them really well.
It worked
because Cirelli gets to the net, and there's Pat
Yeah.
Parking his ass, his big butt.
And I think Coop has realized.
In a good way.
Yeah, and let's not go full Jack Edwards here now. Come on now.
Parking his big ass right in front of the goal and getting 2 goals.
Parking his big rig.
There you go. Absolutely. Right in front of the goal and gets a couple of dirty ones.
And I think it's because Coop understands a fourth line of Pat Maroon, Belmar, who also had a nice game last night, I thought, and Corey Perry. That ain't going to fly anymore.
No.
It's just way too slow.
Yeah.
It's way too slow, not a lot of action. And I know you're talking about it's the fourth line. You get to the playoffs, those guys are only going to play like 7 or 8 minutes anyway. But remember in Colorado, it was a difference.
Yeah.
It was a difference when those guys were out there. And I think Coop has realized that. It's been even kind of worse this year because they're all 1 year older.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's what this was. Let's see if we can use Pat in a different way. And he rewarded him with 2 goals.
Well, let's listen into some of it. Killorn got him on the scoreboard last night with a power play goal and a little tip in front, and this got them going. About 9 minutes left in the first.
Right corner Killorn, right circle Kucherov. High slot Sergachev, left circle Stamkos, shoots, blocks. Stamkos on the rebound. A pass deflects to Sergachev, center
Too
point.
late.
Shoot, score!
I think somebody deflected in
Yeah,
front,
might
maybe
be
Killorn.
Killorn. The wrist shot from Sergachev, though, got through. The Lightning have a power play goal and lead 1-0 with 10:40 left in the first.
Well, and I don't know if Phil went on to say this on the broadcast, but you could see on the replay the guy in the right point for the defense just is starting to slide over towards Stamkos to take Sergei's pass away to Stammer.
Mm-hmm.
And that opens up a shooting lane in front. And so instead of trying to force the pass to Stammer for the one-timer, Sergei throws it at the net where Killorn is, and he gets a little tip on it and goes into the back of the net. Great adjustment on the adjustment that they were making to take Stamkos away. Bada bing, bada boom, they get a goal. And 24th for Alex Killorn, who's having, I kind of want to say quietly having a great year.
That's a quiet 24-goal season.
Yeah. He might even get to 30.
I was going to say, last year was a career year for him.
It was.
And how about he's getting older?
He's getting better.
And time continues to go where you think next year he's probably going to be the next sacrificial lamb.
And he always plays his best hockey in the postseason.
And he does, but he continues to get even better, though, it feels like, with age.
Yeah, he ain't slowing down. That's for damn sure. And speaking of not slowing down, here's number, 32?
Yep.
For Stamkos. And I love the quick shot here. Right before.
In the last 8-9 minutes of the period, you get 2 shots, and they're both on this one.
Stamkos,
and there it is.
Off a face-off win from Belmar! Right off the draw. That was the play the Capitals tried at the other end of the ice. Stamkos scores to make it 2-0 with 2.8 seconds left in the first. They added a little bit of time, but it would have counted even if they'd kept the time where it was.
Right, a beautiful face-off win by Belmar, and Stamkos doesn't waste any time. He just fires it. As quickly as he gets it, he shoots it, and it goes into the net.
Darcy Kemper
That's
was
what
not
I'm
ready
talking
for that.
about. Good opportunities. Those are prime locations.
There was another point where Cirelli drove to the net, and it was when I was watching on TV, and I was telling Brian this, and I forget exactly how he phrased it, but it was basically like Phil saying, "Shoot the freaking puck." He goes like, Cirelli, boy, when you're in that position, you really should shoot that puck. You do all that hard work to get there, and then he passes the puck. And he said it way better than I just did, but with a little bit of sarcasm. It's like, what are you doing? And there was a couple of moments last night where you're dumbfounded. I mean, you're in the slot. There's nobody in front of you. There's 2 guys, waiting for the rebound. If you shoot it, and you pass it off to the side, and they ended up not getting a shot.
And that's why that game could have been 6-1, 7-1 potentially if they would shoot the puck.
I mean, I don't want to, go crazy about shooting the puck. You don't shoot the puck every single time because they make extra passes and they get goals. We've seen that. But there are just some moments where you're just like, what are you freaking doing? Shoot the dadgum puck. So that was Stamkos made it 2-0 right before the buzzer beater, as Dave Randorf called it. And then we get 2 Patty Maroon goals, just gritty goals right in front. We'll play them
Point
both.
Van Riemsdyk, right circle Dylan Strome. Center point Van Riemsdyk, knocked away by Cirelli. He'll chase it down the ice. Cirelli into the offensive zone, pulls up right circle. Shoot, save Kemper, score! On the rebound, Pat Maroon! He went to the net. The puck was there. He slams it in. It's 3-1 Lightning.
Just his 4th goal of the year.
That was his 3rd of the year.
Oh, was that his 3rd?
And the second one was his 4th.
All right, let's hear the other one.
Wilson across the blue line right circle. Stripping him is Cirelli for Cole. Cole tucks it for Chernak on the right wing. 3:40 left. Right wing Killorn to center. Bangs from Maroon across the blue line. Left circle Cirelli open. Shoots, save made. Rebound, score! Maroon again! A 2-goal game for Pat Maroon. And it's 4-1 Lightning.
Yeah, and at that point, it's game over, and the Bolts lock it down and play one of their better games of the year.
Yeah, and shout out to Cirelli on both those goals, especially the first one. All Anthony Cirelli there.
He gets the steal, and then where does Pat go? Right to the freaking net. Go to the net.
Beat his guy there, out-muscle him. See, that's the thing. And Pat Maroon, it's like if you're expecting him to make plays at this stage in his career with Corey Perry and Belmar, it's all kind of the similar player. Just kind of ran its course, clearly.
Yeah. So is Maroon now a top 6 forward?
Are we calling that? Is that a top 6 line? Are we calling it that now?
I mean, Cirelli and Killorn. I mean, it's kind of a mishmash, really. At this point,
it really is.
It's really a mishmash at this point. And Nick Paul, my jeez, Pete's man, we got to get him going.
We do need to get him
going.
going.
Goal in 34 games, 1 goal in 34 games, I think it is.
He's been really quiet.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been quiet. I was going to say he hasn't scored yet, but last night I thought Tanner Janot was a lot more noticeable.
But he had 2 golden opportunities he whiffed on.
He did.
Dude,
but
dude is gripping the stick.
He is. But for what he was brought here to do, 8 hits last night.
Listen, I ain't hating his game at all, but it's going to be so much better when he gets that first one.
I think Coop, though, has said this has been his best 3-game stretch, though, with the team.
Yeah,
he's comfortable now.
All right, let's listen to Coop before we get to Beau Zimmer here. We're going to take a quick break, Nika, but Beau Zimmer coming on. But here's Coop. A lot of short answers last night as well.
2 goals against, 0 goals against, 1 goal against.
That's my answer.
Next.
Nice.
Did you see the guys build off of certain aspects of their win from Carolina to tonight?
I did. I actually liked the way we came out. We had the puck a ton, but then I thought we got a little complacent, and we weren't shooting the puck near enough. We had it a lot, but I thought we could have created a bit more. But Stammer's goal at the end of the first period was a big one for us. It kind of gave us that, if they got the next one, they're still not winning the game, as opposed to then it would have been tied and maybe a little different vibe. So that was big for us.
Coach, your third and fourth, 3 goals, 4 assists. All of them are gritty goals battling in front. Is that what you want to see out of your third and fourth line?
Yeah, there's no question. We want to see that of all your lines. But, to get those goals, anytime you're getting those goals 2 feet from the net, that means you're doing something right. You're putting yourself in the right areas. And so it was good for Patty to get a couple of those.
You had mentioned a few weeks ago that you had to get back to a check your way into scoring chances mentality. Are you seeing that here these past couple of games where you're defending in your own zone and that's creating?
Are you seeing that? Okay, I'll take that answer too then.
Eric's the analyst now.
No, we're doing, for the most part, we're doing a really good job. Just the way we're arriving into our zone and not giving up second chances. Again, they got some really skilled players. They got some looks, but for the most part, I like the way we're defending, and we're kind of just giving us energy, not spending as much time in our zone.
You've talked about how you need to play like this to get far in the springtime. How much better do you feel about this team now versus maybe you did a week ago?
Well, again, we lost the Boston game, but we talked about some of the steps we took forward, and it was a pretty even game. They just got one more than us, and but we carried it into Carolina, and for the most part, we carried it into tonight. Now, we should have that's a brutal back-to-back they're on. And we've been on that before, playing in Washington and then having to come here. So I'm sure they didn't get in till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. But those are, every team gets those. We have to take advantage of it, and I thought we did tonight.
There's John Cooper right there, and that was an absolute clinic in the way you want the Lightning to play. It's exactly the way you want the Rays to play. What a day! What a day in Tampa Bay, and I'm blessed to have been able to see both of it from the inside and as a fan and as a journalist as well.
Makes me
Pretty
smile.
cool.
Makes
Pretty
me
cool
smile.
day. Yeah.
I feel like we were losing a little steam on
We
this,
were.
on
Tampa Bay was
Tampa
losing.
Bay.
Yeah. But yesterday was a good day.
So clearly the Bucs need to go and acquire Lamar Jackson like this afternoon to cap it off. In that saga, please, because I'm so over sports talk right now nationally about hearing about Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson. I'm so over it.
Yeah.
So somebody please find a resolution.
He's going back to the Ravens. Well,
is he? I don't know.
Maybe he doesn't
he
want to.
He requested a trade. I don't know.
Well, he's just trying to get the deal
Whatever.
done.
That'd be the only thing to cap it off if the Bucs just made a surprise deal out of nowhere. You know, just gonna float it out there.
That would be crazy. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Beau Zimmer is going to join us, the grandson of Don Zimmer, who's going into the Rays Hall of Fame on Sunday. Longtime reporter at Tampa Bay's 10. So we'll chat with him. And he's got some great stories of his grandfather, who was just a gem of a man. So we'll do some more of that. And we'll get back to the Rays and the Bolts, a little bit more on them, and go around baseball. That was an interesting day yesterday in baseball. We got football notes to get to. Lots more in the second hour. Stay with us. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some bogus reviews. Talk to knowledgeable agents and not some voice-generated robot. These are confusing times for homeowners, and Italiano's team of experienced professionals can provide the right coverage for every situation: home, auto, business, life. It's Italiano for all the pieces of your life. Call 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms. And let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by, never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Personal attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law Group, you will be part of the family. They will represent you in a vigorous and aggressive way against the insurance companies. These larger companies will promise bigger settlements, but it's the Jeeves Law Group that will get you the best results. If you're tired of dealing with these bigger law firms, check out the Jeeves Law Group. Go to JeevesLawGroup.com, tell them JP sent you, get a free consultation. It's the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves has been representing clients in the Tampa Bay area for over 25 years. Give them a call. It's a free call, 727-894-2929, 727-894-2929, or go to JeevesLawGroup.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Man, it's been a fun week already. And yesterday was just one of the great days in Tampa Bay. I don't want to say great days in Tampa Bay sports history, but, you know, it was just a really, really good day. You know, when you got the two teams getting big wins, one on opening day, one in the playoff push, it's really, really cool. And the Rays have become such a part of our sporting landscape and our landscape of living here in Tampa, St. Pete. And they're not going anywhere, by the way, folks. Anybody who's telling you they're going somewhere, they're not. Major League Baseball's not taking this team out of here. Stu's not going anywhere. They're going to get the deal done. But a man that was a huge part of the Rays and so many other organizations, Don Zimmer, will be brought into the Hall of Fame. The first member brought into the Hall of Fame, his grandson, Beau Zimmer, longtime reporter at Channel 10. Now working with the greatest airport on the face of the earth, Tampa Airport. Joins us now. Beau, how you doing, buddy?
Hey there, how are you?
We are doing great, man. And we have a mutual friend, Beth, who said, you know, Beau can come on and talk about Don Zimmer. I'm like, that's a great idea. And I just, you know, I got to meet your dad so many times just doing work, but I did have the pleasure of sitting down with your grandfather at an event one time. I sat next to him, and we got to chat. I think it was at Tampa Sports Hall of Fame. One of the greatest days of my life. And you got to do it so often. How awesome was that, having Don Zimmer as your grandfather?
Yeah, no, I mean, really cool. And, you know, I hear what you just told me so often in many ways. You know, even here at the airport when I started my job here, apparently he came to the airport with Joe Torre and did a leadership speech, you know, to all the employees at the airport. And they said that was one of the most memorable things that we remember. One of the best speakers we had ever had come in. I think one of the things about him is he was a great storyteller and was a very matter-of-fact kind of guy. Told it how it was. And I think people, you know, even celebrities would come and, you know, the funny thing about my granddad, he didn't watch as much TV. He didn't know who any of these people were. So you'd have people like Betty White or Danny DeVito or, you know, all these different people that would want to come up and sit with my granddad at the ballpark. The team people would give him a picture to take home to my grandpa. Like, yeah, this little guy came and sat with me on the bench today, and he showed the picture to my family. They're like, oh my gosh, you know, look who that is. So, no, absolutely, it was so much fun growing up with him as a granddad. And the best part, as you said, were all those stories.
It's such a cliche question to ask you your best memory, but I want to ask you. I mean, it's just you're in a unique spot. And I was looking over his Wikipedia, and I'm like, my God, there's so much that he did in almost 8 decades in Major League Baseball. He's like me, he couldn't keep a job, bouncing from one place to another, but everywhere he goes, universally beloved. I mean, what were some of your favorite moments with your grandfather?
Oh my gosh. I mean, just so many over the years. And I was so lucky to get a chance to, on my summer breaks when I was in school, go up and spend some time with my grandparents, usually a week or two each summer. When I graduated from high school, I got an internship up at CBS News in New York. And that was when he was with the Yankees. So those 2 summers, 99 and 2000, that I had a chance to go work up at CBS News in New York, I stayed with my grandparents and lived with them those 2 summers, and obviously got a chance to really be a part of the baseball experience those 2 summers. That was probably one of my greatest memories and experiences. It's just so much fun being up there, and what a special time that was in the middle of that Yankees dynasty, and to get to be a part of that. I remember you know, it was kind of some first times where they had the Subway Series. The Yankees would play the Mets. They would shut down the interstates, the police escort with the Yankees going from Yankee Stadium to Shea Stadium or the other way around. And boy, what a wild, you feel like the president when you're in this police escort, you're zooming through. Those were some great memories, and getting a chance to take some of the trips. I'll tell you one other. My dad was a scout for the San Francisco Giants for about 40 years. So we had two allegiances, whatever team my granddad was with, and then of course the Giants, who paid my dad's paychecks. And so when the Giants were moving into their new stadium, their first game was with the Yankees. So I had a chance to go out to the first game and Candle at the new San Francisco stadium after Candlestick Park, and what a great experience that was as well.
And what do you remember about his time with the Rays from 04 to 14? I mean, he was just a constant presence here, and obviously the World Series in 08, and he was such a huge part of the Rays becoming competitive. What do you remember of those times? And because they weren't when he first got here, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting because I remember his departure from the Yankees, and it was kind of falling out with George Steinbrenner, and I was kind of disappointed to see his career end that way. And the next thing I know, he and my grandma called me up and said, we had a lunch with Vince Moley, and Vince offered me a job. And one of the greatest things that could have happened for my granddad, because he was at that stage where the traveling and being in a city like New York was getting to be a lot for someone of his age. But at the same time, getting to kind of have this part-time job with the Tampa Bay Rays, the Devil Rays at the time, and have all of these young players come and seek knowledge. He could just sit on the bench and tell stories. I think number one, it made him feel useful. Number two, it really kept him young. Up into his 80s. He was around all these guys like Evan Longoria, and they really appreciated his knowledge. And as you said, I mean, he was treated. He wasn't just a senior baseball advisor. He was treated like a baseball Yoda, and it was really fun to see how the fans even reacted to someone who, wasn't one of the primary coaches or the manager, but he would still have bobblehead days, and he was a superstar even in that role.
Well, and that's part of the thing that's happening on Sunday is we're giving out the Zimbear, which became this like cult figure, this bobblehead thing. I remember when I first saw it, when the promotions sent it to us, and I was like, this is half wonderful and half weird and spooky. I'm like, tell us the story of the Zimbear from your perspective?
Yeah, no, I mean, just things, we were always shocked. Here he is, a senior baseball advisor, a guy in his 80s, and they're going to come out with a Zim snow globe or some other type of promotional item. And one of the last ones they did was this Zim bear. And we had a picture of him and I together holding this Zim bear. And I agree. It was very bizarre, but the Rays do things in a little bit of a different way. It was maybe a step up from a minor league promotion, but still it was a crazy idea, but it went over really well. And I remember Jimmy Leland, who was one of my granddad's very close friends. He was on a Zoom call with us not too long ago, and he held up the Zim bear. I still have it, and I sleep with it every night, joking. But, it was one of those things that people just got a big smile out of.
Yeah, well, that's part of the reason to go on Sunday is get your Zim bear. And what if the Rays told you about what's going to happen on Sunday as far as the pomp and circumstance? I'm sure you'll be a part of it.
Yeah, no, I know we've got our whole family going. I don't know exactly all the details. My dad has kind of been working on a lot of that stuff and has been in communications with the Rays PR team. But everything the Rays have done involving my granddad has been first class. Including right after he passed away. My granddad, didn't want a big funeral. His idea, before he passed, said, we could do some kind of celebration of life, but the Rays on short notice, worked with my grandma, and basically, if you know your history, my granddad was married at home plate, and they had a celebration of life at home plate, and right. God, just the amount of just time that they put into making that very, very special for my grandma and our family is something that we're very grateful for. And I'm sure this event coming up on Sunday will be just as special.
It's interesting that the first Hall of Famer going in is a guy who never managed the team, never played for the team, but that's how special he was. I think that's the greatest tribute right there.
My grandma, I talked to my grandma about this last night, and she actually said she was surprised that he was the first one going in. Yeah, you have to realize that the Rays don't have as much history as some of these other storied franchises. My granddad's in the Brooklyn Dodgers Hall of Fame, which, you could understand, how he was a big part of that. He's in the Red Sox Hall of Fame. At one point, he was one of the winningest managers for the Red Sox. But this one is kind of a surprise and special. But the other thing you have to realize is some of the people who will be in the Hall of Fame, some of the obvious people haven't retired from the game of baseball yet.
Right.
So, I wouldn't be at all surprised if we had an Evan Longoria a few years down the road, but they got to give some of these guys who are still in the game, the franchise players, a chance to retire. And so I'm sure we'll have some great names. I'm excited about Wade Boggs, and I got a kick out of the Wade Boggs giveaway that they're going to have on that night. I think it's a can cooler. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It'll be a fun season, and they've got a fun schedule ahead.
Yeah.
I did want to ask you real quick, and I'm sure you've been asked this before, but for the younger generation like myself, the first time I heard of Don Zimmer is the clip of him and Pedro. And it's like an iconic clip for whatever reason. Like, it's in so many packages, especially when they go through like the history of the Red Sox-Yankee rivalry. I vividly remember that. I mean, have you ever found, like, what was the intention? What was he going for there with that whole confrontation? Because, it's turned into, honestly, one of the more iconic moments of the 21st century in baseball.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. When I talk to people who were born after 1990, that's how I tell people who he was. He's the fat guy that was charging after Pedro Martinez. But so a couple things to remember about my granddad. He was hit twice as a player in the head batting, and this was back before they wore the batting helmet. And after he was hit and almost killed one time, that was when they made the batting helmet compulsory. It made it required for players in that league. So I think, while he understood that pitchers, have to, protect their area of the plate, at the same time, I think he was very, very sensitive to anyone intentionally throwing at someone's head based on what had happened in his own career. I mean, he was in a coma. He had to learn to walk and talk again. This was a very serious thing for him. In fact, that's how he ended up in St. Pete. The Dodgers sent him down to St. Pete to recover. And he, fell in love with this area. So that's how he ended up from Cincinnati, his hometown, down here, and our whole family lives down here in Florida now because of that. But I think that was a part of it. And then number two, the antics, the on-field antics. And, I think some of it may have been misinterpreted based on what I heard from Pedro Martinez and some of his interviews. But, when he started, Pedro was pointing at his head in some of those famous clips before the fight broke out. My granddad had it in his head that this is the guy that caused this whole situation, and I'm going after him. He wasn't looking to go out and charge after anyone else but Pedro Martinez. And he apologized. He realized what he did was wrong. He was standing up for his team. He was a fiery guy, but at the same time, I think it was great of him to stand up and apologize for what turned out to be somewhat of an embarrassing situation for the Yankees in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, respecting the game, no question about it. Well, and going after the smallest guy in the field is probably a pretty smart move as well with Pedro. Listen, Beau, great chat with you, man. I don't think I'll be there on Sunday, but it's going to be a great day for your family, and so well deserved. And what a joy to have that man as your grandfather. You're lucky.
You're telling me, and I'll grab a couple extra pair of the Zimmer bobbleheads.
I know I got it down in my collection box that's sitting in storage. I want to bust it out one day, but it'll be on my bubble. We need to put it right up here. Yeah, so grab me a couple. We'll get it up on the shelf here. So the Zim Bear will be looking over us every day. I would love to have that. So that would be awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
It was good talking to you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Beau. Beau Zimmer, their grandson of the great Don Zimmer. He'll go into the Hall of Fame on Sunday. And it's one of the great things that Stu Sternberg did is just take a liking to Don Zimmer, and what he brought to the organization cannot be understated.
The word legitimacy comes around a little bit because, when you're a young franchise, you're looking for something to legitimize it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Diamondbacks had already stolen their thunder from 98 because they got the World Series quickly.
Mhm.
They had historic players, Randy Johnson,
Right.
Luis Gonzalez,
Yep.
and the Rays were kind of floundering the first few years. Ownership issues, stadium issues, on the field issues.
Yeah.
And then Don Zimmer comes here, and imagine that, being a young player and walking into a clubhouse, and it's Joe Madden and Don Zimmer in the clubhouse. It's not bad.
Yeah. It's
not bad.
If you're not soaking up some of that knowledge, you're doing something wrong. You're doing something very, very wrong. So obviously he's such a part of the game. By the way, just go through his Wikipedia. I mean, you want to talk about a dude that lived a life? Holy hell.
Yeah.
He lived a life. He was won a World Series in the Mexican League, I believe, or the Caribbean Series. They mentioned that when he was hit in the head in 1953, he was basically in a coma for 13 days. Went from 175 to 124 pounds, and just almost lost his life. And, and then became such a great fixture as a manager.
Yeah,
as well.
It's like when I think of him, there's two other guys that come to mind, and I think their paths have all, if I'm correct with my baseball history, they all intertwined. Was Don Zimmer, Tommy Lasorda, and Vin Scully.
Vin Scully, yeah.
Those three, for whatever reason.
I throw Jimmy Leland in there, who he
But those three, those three come to mind as, like, I call them like baseball lifers.
Yeah,
like if you sat down with them, they could probably tell you the entire history of the game for a good, 5-6 decades worth, or even longer in Vin Scully's case.
I've had the opportunity to sit down with all those men.
Really?
In Atlanta with Vin Scully one time. He was in Atlanta doing a game, and I went in the press box, just went in to get my press box meal beforehand, and he was sitting alone at the table. And I was, it was like 5 tables to sit down. I'm like, and I didn't want to bother him, but I'm like, I'm not missing this opportunity. So I sat down, put my tray down, and I'm like, and he looks up and he's like, hello, young fella. And I was just like, I'm not that young, but, compared to you. And I'm like, Mr. Scott, oh, no, please call me Vin. And I'm like, it just sat there and talked a little baseball for about, he said, well, I'm sorry, but I have to go attend to my duties. I'm like, it's nice talking to you. Thank you. And luckily, nobody else came up and sat down.
That's a plus.
One of the other Atlanta guys sat at another table. He goes, I didn't want to bother you guys. I'm like, thanks. Appreciate that. I was like, wow, that was really cool. He just didn't see that coming. Didn't see that coming. And boy, he talks the same way in person on the radio.
He's real.
100%. That wasn't fake. And I recall a time. He started going into the story, and I'm like, just sitting like this wide-eyed and, trying not to be too fanboy. Had the same, not the same situation, but I was at a spring training game actually it was in Disney, and when the Braves were training there, and went in there and sat down and with a couple other guys, and Jimmy Leland came down and sat right next to me. First thing I did was smell the smoke. I mean, he probably just had 3 heaters right after that. And it was him and Don Sutton, Leland, Don Sutton, and another friend of mine. The 4 of us sitting at the table having just eating lunch. And boy, what a conversation that was between Sutton and Leland. That was just fun to listen to those two go back and forth. Like, you stupid ass. Remember that time? And they're back and forth. I'm like, this is really cool. And Tommy Lasorda, I got to do a one-on-one with him. Gosh, God, that'd be 25 years ago. I think I was working was it Channel 8 at the time? I forget, but I got to sit down with him, and he was just a masterful storyteller as well, and set him up with a few different stories. And talking about the Kirk Gibson home run was just, oh God, that was such a great story. And with Tommy, every other word with. When he wasn't on camera was an F word there and this F word there. Kind of like talking to Goose. These old timers, man, in
iconic
baseball,
figures,
dude.
It's like that's what I'm like. Who are the iconic figures? Like when you think of like today's game, either it's like a manager or like
Joe
a figure.
Madden.
Who's going to be like the iconic figure we're talking about?
If Joe
in the future?
Madden will reach that iconic status, or has he already? To me, he has.
I don't know.
I wouldn't. I can't.
I don't know
can't
if
put him
he'll.
in Lasorda.
I think it's hard for me to view it that way because the game has changed so much, and it clearly has changed away from the way
He was a late bloomer.
Yeah, and it changes. It's changed the way against the way that Joe thinks.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the younger generation, my generation, I guess, if you will, and the next one is going to think of him as this historic figure.
Well, we got a lot to get to, but I want to pick up on that when we come back, just in terms of because I think when all is said and done in the history of the game, I think Joe Madden is going to be seen as one of the primary figures of, and it's weird. I think some will see him as a villain in some ways, but I think others will. I think if you know the story, he's not clearly. Which I got to, this would be a great topic when I got to get him on the show to talk about it. But we'll talk about that when we come back. I'm going to get into some. We'll do some more bolts and rays as well, but also what happened in baseball yesterday. There's a lot of notes in football, and there's something I'm going to watch tonight that will probably shock some of you, but I'm really looking forward to it. And Nick thinks he knows, but he doesn't know. So we'll do that when we come back. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms. And let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by, never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Personal attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law Group, you will be part of the family. They will represent you in a vigorous and aggressive way against the insurance companies. These larger companies will promise bigger settlements, but it's the Jeeves Law Group that will get you the best results. If you're tired of dealing with these bigger law firms, check out the Jeeves Law Group. Go to JeevesLawGroup.com, tell them JP sent you, get a free consultation. It's the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves has been representing clients in the Tampa Bay area for over 25 years. Give them a call. It's a free call, 727-894-2929, 727-894-2929, or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. Hey guys, JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. There is no better place to shop for jewelry than the Gold and Diamond Source. We know that. They are the family jewelers, and they will treat you like family. It's always a fun experience. Just head on over there. You will not find a better selection anywhere in the world. It's a jewelry super center. They've got engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, pendants, chains, and thousands of diamonds to choose from. They're all right there. You don't have to ship anything in. They have jewelry for every price range as well. Guys, if you're looking for some of those baller watches, they have a great selection. They have new and used. You can get some great collectibles there as well. And if you're looking for some more affordable gold and diamond jewelry, you have to check out the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Emily created this collection for people who want to wear and stack elaborate jewelry but don't want to pay the big ticket prices. You got to check this stuff out. The Golden Diamond Source has plenty of options to accommodate any budget, interest-free financing for up to 5 years, and a layaway program, 20% down and only 6 monthly payments. And this month only, get up to 15% off the March birthstone, which is aquamarine. Like we always say, keep it local, folks. The Golden Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub, such great philanthropic benefactors. So let's keep it all local here when we have the opportunity, right? It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Ladies and gentlemen, are you looking to lose weight or just lean up for bathing suit season where there are so many diets and chiropractors and weight loss clinics out there? You don't know where to start, right? We'll start at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo, PA, and his professional staff will devise a personal plan for you that gets results and will help you keep the weight off. Everybody metabolizes food and supplements differently. Many of these other approaches are designed for the masses. So how's that going to work for you specifically? It's not. Chris will spend one-on-one time with you to find out what works best for you so the weight comes off safely without the use of harmful drugs and side effects. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Friday. Got so much great stuff going on in the world of sports here locally and nationally to get to. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com, who's also sponsoring, I don't know if you've seen this, my friend. I got to post this picture today. I got a lot to post from this week. The JP Peterson Show logo on the side of the St. Pete trolleys.
Yeah, I have.
Did you see that yesterday?
I haven't seen it yesterday.
I saw one yesterday.
But I was
going down Central Avenue. I was like, hello.
I have been emailing back and forth, though, with, I forget her name, Denise, I want to say, organizing that, getting everything they needed. So I knew about it, but I haven't seen it, so it's up.
The glorious side of the free trolley ride, which, by the way, don't mess with the lots that filled up so quickly yesterday. They got the free trolley that runs all over downtown St. Pete. So park everywhere in downtown St. Pete. Jump on the trolley.
I tell you what I did. We ended up parking yesterday.
It takes you right to the game.
Because I got there at like 2 o'clock, actually, and they told me that all the parks or the lots were full. And I'm like, I've never dealt with this before.
Yeah.
And I always just park in the lot because it's just easy, whatever. So like I was like driving around and I was like, I don't know where to go. Like, at this point, I'm like away from like all the areas where you can like pay to park in like certain little places, and they're all full at this point. Like, do you know this like Park Mobile app?
Yes.
Right? I found one of those lots, and there were already like a lot of cars in it. There were people going in. I saw spots, and I parked in it, and I got the Park Mobile app out, and it says specifically, no raised parking allowed. Find another spot. And I'm talking to everybody in the parking lot. Nobody else could figure out how to pay, and I was just like, okay, are they going to take all of our cars out of this lot?
No.
So I said, we're leaving. Came back. I looked. There was no ticket anywhere. Nothing. So I parked for free in one of those things.
Yeah, a lot of those things, they just put up signs. They don't have the manpower to go check on that stuff and tow all the cars. They're not doing. And they don't know. And they don't know if you're there for the Rays game or not.
There were people that were reading it, and they were like, "Oh, guess we got to go somewhere else." And they were like getting in their cars and leaving. And I'm like, "There's like 150 cars in this lot. Like, what are y'all? Like, where are you going?"
They count on because people are compliant.
I was
Look
like,
at
really?
what they do. They'll wear masks and take jabs. And people, I can't park here. Okay. I think for myself. Anthony Richardson, by the way, completed 45 passes yesterday. I don't think he missed many in his workout. Was just unbelievable. Then did a backflip at the end. So everything we expected from the 6'4", 244-pound Adonis, throwing the ball 70 yards, just ridiculous. If you're in need of a quarterback, and the Bucs are, I mean, I don't put any stock into these workouts whatsoever. They are ridiculous in terms, but it's hard not to just sit there and drool.
I mean,
if you're an NFL executive, it's just that dude was born to play quarterback in the NFL. It's sick.
They said, and I can't understand for the life of me how underwear workouts do this, but this is what's going to end up happening.
Stupid.
That they're thinking that there's no way now, like his floor is like, he ain't getting past 5. Seattle looks like they're in love with him.
Yesterday, I predicted to Cam Newton, where Cam Newton, people forget this, but Cam Newton was considered, a kind of a first round. He was very, very similar to Anthony Richardson. It was like, yeah, he's raw, can't really play in the NFL, not an accurate passer, just a great athlete, not going to be able to, and he won an MVP and got to a Super Bowl. You cannot say Cam Newton was a bust in any way, shape, or form. The dude was amazing. Didn't have a long career, and I think for a lot of these quarterbacks, longevity is not going to be their hallmark. But 10 to 15 years in the league ain't a bust. No. And so, I mean, can he be Cam Newton? Hell yes, he can be Cam Newton. There's no question.
I think he's got more throwing upside than Cam.
I do too.
I think because I think Cam's mechanics were always all over the place.
These guys' mechanics are solid.
I look at Anthony, and
that thing comes out quick.
It comes out quick, and it's a simple flick.
Yeah, it's like, and even the deep passes are just like.
Yeah, his deep ball, and I'm not talking about the weird one. I don't understand why they make them do this in these workouts, where they walk so slowly back and like fake a handoff, and then they're rolling out all these different directions. Yeah. It's like so unrealistic.
No, it's not. I mean, that's the stretch play. That's the bootleg play.
No, but they do it the way the speed they do it. It's so unrealistic to me, though. It looks weird. Like I don't find those things impressive, but just a straight like he did it at the combine. He threw 3 65-yard passes in a row.
Yeah,
dropped them all in a bucket. I mean, that to me is more impressive. But I mean, I don't really know. I didn't get to see the whole workout. I haven't seen any clips, of course, of just the regular passes.
I watched it, yeah.
I'm more interested in those.
Yeah.
I guess because I know what he can do with the long ones. The only clip that really went viral was the one where he hit the building.
The top of the.
Which I think he did on purpose.
I think he did too. Knowing that it would go viral, I'm sure his agent told him to.
Because Levis did it, and he said he wanted to do it too.
Yeah, and it's not that hard to do, but I mean, it was on a trajectory to be completed too.
He's got a nice arc. I'll put it that way.
The dude can do everything physically, but quarterbacking is not just that. But it's in the NFL now, the way these offenses are being tailored to the college game, there's no question that he can be a difference maker. There's no doubt. Do I want the Bucs to take him at 19? I don't think he's going to be there.
Close to 19.
I don't think he's going to get to 19. But if we're going to have a conversation about it, they don't have a quarterback. This is where the game is going. I've been so staunchly against, and still there is a part of me, because you hear the chatter of the hangers-on in Gainesville, and he never really could escape from that. And it's hard to do. It's really hard to do. Where you grow up, these are your boys. I mean, imagine, having to tell all your boys, "Hey, listen, man, I got work to do. Ain't gonna be around. Peace out. Don't ask me for money." It's hard to do. I mean, this is your family. These are the guys you grew up with. And I'm not saying you should do that, but you have to control it. And it's it always seemed to be an issue for him. But that's just maturity. Can he mature out of that? Absolutely.
I told you when we heard him speak at the Combine, I thought he sounded up like a real stand-up guy. I thought he came across very well to me.
I've just hearing the chatter over the last couple of years. There's a reason Dan Mullen didn't play him. He couldn't grasp this. He couldn't grasp that. He's too much of a freelancer. Nobody knows what he's doing.
How many guys did Dan Mullen not play as much as they should have?
Yeah.
And Damian Pierce is the great example.
Bingo.
I mean, how long did it take for Kyle Trask to get his opportunity? And who was he sitting behind?
Bingo. Felipe Franks.
So that's why I just don't buy those things.
Right. And I kind of bought into him, to be quite honest. And talking to some other reporters, you hear this stuff, but you can't deny the guy's ability. You can't deny the guy's ability. And I just think where the NFL is going with quarterbacking, I want to say he's a can't miss. But if you're the Bucs, and by some reason, for some reason, he's there at 19.
Yeah, ain't happening. And I wouldn't do it either. We've talked about this. There's too many holes to fill here.
And it's a process.
For a process,
it's going to be and it's 2 or 3 years before he's going to be. It feels a lot like.
And I don't know if this coaching staff is even going to be the one that would end up being his coaching. I just don't like the dynamics of that.
Coaching staff.
I don't like the dynamics of that. I think the whole thing about his floor now is 5. Seattle's got the 5th pick. Seattle looks like a great spot for him, to be honest.
They've also got the 20th pick.
Yeah, they do. But I think the 5th pick.
Which actually, if they don't take him at 5, and he drops, that 19 pick becomes really valuable. Because everybody knows Seattle's going to take him at 20.
Yeah, potentially.
And if somebody wants to jump up and get him, come get him.
Maybe.
If you want to give me a later first, or a first next year, there might be a higher pick if you're taking Anthony Richardson and playing
give me like seconds and thirds.
And then a second and third.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to have to come up.
Of course
you're going to come up with some.
That
would be a nice development.
But I think Seattle probably would take him at 5 though, because especially with the contract they gave Geno Smith, it's a friendly contract for them to take a quarterback high.
Yeah, but they've got a lot of holes too, and there's going to be some great players at 5.
They plugged up a lot of holes last year and in free agency.
Yeah.
Not as many holes as you think.
They're in a good position. That's
they're in a good
damn
spot.
Sure. They're damn sure. So you know what I'm going to watch tonight? One of my favorite players in all of sports, Caitlin Clark.
I should have known.
Caitlin Clark.
I should have known that's what it was.
I love watching that girl shoot. She is just something else. And I love the moxie that she plays with. And she's going up against South Carolina, Don Staley, and that scrappy bunch, that big scrappy bunch.
How many games in a row have they won, South
34,
Carolina?
35.
I know they won a lot of games.
They're trying to go wire to wire. And they do USF was hanging in there with them, and then they just beat you with their size and depth. They just beat you down. They offensive rebound the hell out of the ball. And that team has the personality of their coach, and she's a bulldog, man. And they're going to be tough to beat. But Caitlin's going to have to score 45 and dish out 15 assists. And you know what?
She probably will.
She can do it. And she can do it. And that's one hell of a Final Four game.
A lot of people are saying they're more interested in the women's Final Four.
Oh, God, yes.
Than the men's Final Four.
Yeah.
A lot of people are there. And I know the ratings have been a lot higher for the women's version this year than in the past.
If Ashley's listening to the show right now, she's like, you're coming over. We're going to watch women's basketball tonight. And we're not watching my 600-pound sister or whatever that show is.
My 600-pound life.
Or whatever that is, yeah. I'm like, yeah.
No, we got greatness to watch.
I'll probably record the game and wait till she falls asleep. But just otherwise,
yeah. You got greatness to watch, though.
Yeah,
she might be like, maybe she's not the most accomplished college player, but
Ashley might be asleep by then anyway.
Let me get you. But she might not be the most accomplished player, but I think for my money, she's the most talented player I think I've ever seen in
She's fun to watch.
Women's basketball.
That's all there is to it. She's fun to watch. It's great to watch
She's the
her
Steph
play.
Curry. She's the female Steph Curry.
Yeah, she is. And she's and this is like a Titanic. Kind of reminds me of God, I'm going to say this, and you people are going to crush me.
9:30 tonight, by the way.
Oh, yeah, she'll be out. This reminds me of Bird versus Magic. Not to that level, all right? But in terms of that, you have the superstar player.
You immediately walked that back. The second it came out of your mouth, you heard it. You did a little visual, and you said no.
In terms of this, okay, don't quote me on that, please. You have to get the whole thing.
In fact, you know what? I'm gonna go put that tweet out real quick.
Don't you dare, because it's completely out of context if you do. Remember, because Bird had a bunch of nobodies on his team, and he was a superstar, and he drove the whole bus, right? He shot, assisted, like he drove the whole freaking bus. And Magic had, Greg Kelser and all these other great players on his team, and there was a great team in Michigan State. So, and no one thought that Bird could even keep up with them, and he and his ragtag team did. Mm-hmm. And I think there's some more talented players, but Caitlin is by far the best player on the team. So in that sense, it's a big game, and women's college basketball has emerged. It really has as a real, and the ratings have been really good.
Yeah, I think the women's game on the college side is really good. Yeah. I think the men's side is still, for what I've watched in this tournament, clearly there's still a charm to it and a magic to it. And I'm going to be rooting like hell tomorrow for FAU. I cannot wait for that. Hopefully we get the All-Florida national title game would be really cool. But the problem is I still feel like the women's game, when it gets to the pro level and then the NBA, it loses that still, though.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Like, how many people are realistically, like, I'm not trying to, like, poop on the women's game, like the WNBA, and I'm not trying to poop on I will poop on the NBA, actually. But, like, how many people are realistically then going to go watch Caitlin Clark in the NBA? It feels like we forget about, because, like, Brianna Stewart, Ionescu, we've seen come through. Like, we've seen players of her talent come through, but we don't follow them to the WNBA like we do when they're in college. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So there's
no question
about
that.
So both leagues,
I think
pro, we need to find a way to keep that going.
Yeah. Both leagues have PR issues with fans.
Well, I'm talking about I'm just talking about an on-court standpoint.
Unfortunately, it turns off a lot of fans.
Well, it turns me off as seeing 2 nights in a row Kyrie Irving's trying to get fans removed from games.
Oh,
and
my God.
I don't know what's being said. Maybe he has good reason, but because it's Kyrie Irving, it just makes you go, really, dude? Like, you're like 3-12 since you got to Dallas. And here you are worrying about other things.
Remember, didn't they win their first 3 games or their first game they won?
Well, they both got hurt.
Whoa.
They both got hurt, and then they couldn't win anything.
Right.
And now I guess they're back together, and they're still losing.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that. What else did we want to get to? Yesterday's baseball. So the first pitch clock violation, Marcus Stroman in history.
Mm-hmm.
Now pitching for the Cubs. I saw some of the highlights, kind of weird. Rafael Devers called out on strikes for not getting in the box early enough, and it felt weird. It felt weird. I didn't like that part of it. I didn't like that part of it at all. But you got to do. Pete Alonso was not hustling, getting back to a base after a foul ball. In fact, was walking very, very slowly, so the batter could not get in the box in time, and there was a pitch clock violation by that. And listen, we love you, Pete, but it's incumbent upon you to
jog
hustle
a little bit.
Yeah, come on, you got to hustle. Respect the game.
Yeah,
respect the game.
When I said drama and keeping all that stuff, I don't mean that.
Yeah,
that's not what I meant.
But they'll learn.
They'll
every
learn.
other, it's like every other sport works with a clock. It's not that hard. If you guys would hustle and play like the game was meant to be played, there wouldn't be a need for any of this. But there is. So let's get it going. So all that stuff will go away.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to have issues in major parts of games that are going to decide games. I think the umpires are certainly going to give a little leeway.
Yeah, we'll work through all that stuff. But I still think, though, yesterday, take all that stuff out of the way. I can't recall an opening day that I was so much more excited for than yesterday.
Me neither.
I watched more baseball yesterday than I can recall. I watched Quick Pitch this morning twice. I watched it twice.
What's Quick Pitch is like a wrap-up of all the games, right, on MLB
It's
Network?
what SportsCenter should be. It's highlights.
Yeah.
And it kept me invested, and I caught up on everything that happened.
They use a lot of Nat sound, too, which I love.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And I watched it twice this morning because I just really wanted to see everything that I missed. I stayed up last night. I watched everything that Ohtani did from a pitching standpoint.
He had the pitch calm under his
he puts it on a spot that nobody else puts it.
Yeah.
And he calls everything himself.
How about that?
Catcher doesn't even help him. He's just rolling out there.
Yeah. And there was a couple, the umpire had to come out and say, hey, you're
going too fast.
You're going too fast.
Yeah.
Which I don't have a problem with. Get ready, batter. And that's got to be a huge advantage for the pitcher. These hitters, but I think it's also making the hitters hitterish. They're getting in and they're just. I think there was definitely more action in the game yesterday.
There was.
There's no question about it. I don't have I don't have the data on that yet, but it didn't feel like as many strikeouts.
There was a lot of exciting
didn't feel
games
like as
yesterday.
many walks.
Yeah.
It felt like there were more hits. It just
everything
that baseball needed. They got it done.
What I alluded to earlier, look how many everybody had their ace going yesterday, and a lot of guys got rocked.
Yeah.
Jacob deGrom got rocked. Nola got rocked.
Verlander's down.
Verlander's on the IL now all of a sudden with a shoulder strain. So Steve Cohen, bad money spent already. Yeah. But a lot of aces did not have good days. There was a lot more hitting going on. It seemed like some excitement. Mm-hmm. And by the way, talking about the game being fun and making it a cool atmosphere, you know what team and stadium is going to be a place to watch games now?
Where?
On the West Coast?
Where?
Is Seattle and T-Mobile. They were showing it last night on a movie network leading into Ohtani's start. Did you see the introductions? I mean, this was like some wrestling type shit. I mean, they had them coming out from center field with a big, long runway from center field all the way to the baseline, and they came out, and they had, like, the smoke and, like, the flames and everything. And they had stuff on, like, the sides of them the entire way down, and they all, like, sprinted or, like, jogged all the way across. It looked like a wrestling entrance, and they all, like, would do something, like, to get the crowd going or something unique.
Wow.
It looked like a good time. And Seattle's a fun team, by the way, to watch as well.
Yeah.
So I'm like, keep an eye on that now. And then the Rays did the same thing with the smoke. I saw a lot of teams doing it. Just little things like that, to me, add to the excitement.
Well, it's baseball coming into the 20th century.
Coming into the new realm a little bit.
Century.
And then how about this last night? Now, I did tweet about this last night because I couldn't help myself. This was a bit overkill, in my opinion. Before Ohtani was starting, they had Ohtani Cam.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I get it. He's the face of baseball. We need to market him. I did not ask for a Shohei Ohtani Cam. And what I mean by how obnoxious this thing was, they're showing live look-ins at games. And, like, they were showing Rockies Padres, and I'm trying to watch the game. And, like, in the middle of the guy pitching, like, mid-pitch, they would have this, like, alarm go off on the broadcast. And then Greg Amsinger was like, hold up, Ohtani Cam. And they go to Ohtani, and what's he doing? He's putting on a sweatshirt. Or he's drinking a water bottle. Like, anything he was doing, they had to have the alarm bell sound, literally an alarm bell sound, and then to show him on the broadcast and interrupt the game or, like, whatever discussion they were having. I'm like, okay. That's a little overkill, for my opinion.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of the overkill.
Yeah.
I don't care that Shohei Ohtani was putting on his sweatshirt.
No.
And then they were breaking down. I'm not kidding you. They were breaking down how he drank his water.
What sweatshirt was it? Was it made? Where can we buy that?
Yeah. No, they were breaking down how he drank his water. I'm not kidding you. Sean Casey was, like, about to fall over. He's like, have you ever seen anybody drink water like that? I'm like, what are we doing?
Stop. Let's take a quick break. Do we have time for one more break?
Yeah, we got one more break to get.
Yeah, one more break, and I want to come back, give you the latest on Lamar Jackson, what's going on with him. He ain't coming to the Bucs, I can tell you that. Or maybe he is. Who knows? Who the hell knows where this is going to end? It's getting weird now. So quick break. We'll be back with wrap things up here on this Friday afternoon. Brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, the Gold and Diamond Source, and the great folks at American Mortgage Services. Clayton, thanks for the ticket yesterday. Back in 3. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
Pure Sports. JP is back on. Welcome back. FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back for our final few minutes here. Mentioned Lamar Jackson still out on the market, and he tweeted that he requested to be traded the other day, and that went back to March 3rd. Nobody had stepped up and given him an offer sheet. This is what Arthur Blank, the Falcons owner, a lot of people looked at the Falcons situation and said, that looks like a spot for him. He said, different player, different time. You have a winner in Jackson, an MVP in the league. There's no question he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Looking at it objectively, I'd say there's some concern over how long can he play his style of game, hopefully a long time, but he's missed 5 or 6 games each of the last 2 years. Each game counts a lot in our business. So, this is not collusion, folks. This is a lot of teams coming to the same situation. Here's the other thing people really don't talk about. If you put in an offer sheet for Lamar Jackson, whatever team you are, let's say you're the Falcons, all right, what does that do to Desmond Ridder? You've got a second-round pick drafted, and he played, I would say, played pretty damn well for the last 4 games that he played. He definitely has some upside on this team in this situation. Not to mention all the other things that go into it, but the feeling is whatever you put out there, whatever offer sheet you sign him to, that the Ravens are going to match. They're going to match, so you're going to put that out there. You're going to destroy the confidence of your own quarterback, and you get nothing out of it. And that can be part of it. But the other part of it is these owners as a whole look down their nose on that Deshaun Watson contract. They're all pissed at Haslam for giving him that guaranteed deal, and they don't as a league want to start guaranteeing contracts to all these quarterbacks because it's a bad business move. It's hard to sustain this business if you're going to guarantee contracts for these players. It's just really, really tough to do. It's part of the business, but and by the way, the players collectively bargain this stuff. This is not something that the owners have forced upon the players. It's all collectively bargained. They get concessions for giving other concessions, and you have to remember that. So all these people that are like, the NFL is not fair to its players and it's racist because they're not giving them this money. These players agree to these conditions, and they're given a lot of other things in return. So it simply comes down to the fact that he is, as I said the other day, his uniqueness hurts him here. Because
I think you just got a lot of scared owners.
Yeah, of course. It ain't your money.
It's not my money, but
you want to guarantee him $250 million and then have him not be able to play for 3 or 4 years if he gets a catastrophic knee injury or is never the same guy. And that, his entire game is based upon his ability to escape and make plays.
I think he's a better. I understand that. I think he's a better pocket passer than he gets credit for.
I agree with that too, but I don't think I ain't paying him to be a pocket passer. If that's all, if his game is.
I think two things can be true. You can look at Atlanta and go, okay, Arthur Smith, this is a guy who likes to run the ball. Okay, it's an offense that seems perfect for Lamar. Atlanta is a great connection there. It just seems perfect, right? You can acknowledge that, but it can also be true that I think the people that just completely throw aside Desmond Ridder like he doesn't exist, I think it's unneeded.
Yeah.
Personally.
It's unfair.
You haven't even.
It was your second-round pick. Yeah, so's Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, he's also the most winningest quarterback in college football history at Cincinnati.
Right.
The only power or group of 5 team to ever break through into the playoff.
Right.
By the way.
Yeah.
Extinguished career. He's got all those measurements that you all love, big arm and everything, right?
Yep.
That we love drafting quarterbacks high.
Yeah.
And he went 2-2 last year when he got the reins, and in a tough situation, I thought he was okay. And he got better in every single game.
But not a whole lot to work with.
And he's cheap.
Yeah, and he's cheap.
For a team, that's the thing.
Rebuild.
If Lamar goes to the Falcons, and I think highly of the Falcons more than other teams, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you if Lamar goes to the Falcons, Super Bowl contender. I'm not going to say that. I think that they're doing a slow build, which is perfect, but they still have a lot of holes. And I think having the rookie quarterback right now on the cheap deal with the veteran backup and Heineke as a little placeholder is perfect for them.
Yep.
I think both those things can be true.
I agree. And it's putting all your eggs in one basket with a whole lot of money tied up in that. And it's a dangerous game to play. And for some organizations, if you're willing to do it, I get it, but I understand why other organizations are not. And it's the other part that most people feel that the Ravens are just going to match it and keep him anyway.
I don't know if they are, to be honest.
They've
never shown me that they're willing to do that.
Well, where's the offer, though? What's he worth? What's he worth? Is he worth Deshaun Watson money? I don't know. When Deshaun Watson was doing his thing,
better than Deshaun Watson, I tell you that.
I mean, Deshaun Watson is a
you show me when
quarterback.
You show me when he's the MVP of the league. Sorry, I'm not a Deshaun Watson fan.
Well, it's going to be hard in Cleveland.
I'm sorry, but all his great talent has been undermined.
I know.
So I can't look on the bright side.
It's hard to argue for him, but when he was playing, he was a hell of a quarterback. When he was in a groove, and what he did in college is unmatched as well. So he did.
I'd rather compare Lamar to Kyler Murray. I'd rather do that.
Well,
that's
Kyler Murray ain't winning anything.
It ain't even close.
Tell you that. All right, we'll say goodbye. I got the week off next week, but I really don't because I'll be doing some cameos from Colorado. I'm going to do the show from my deck on the 4 o'clock run, looking back up at the mountains, so you all can be so jealous, and hopefully the sun will be shining. But I'll be joining Nick, and he'll have some guest hosts next week as well. So tune in. You never know what you're going to hear. It could be fun. Well, will definitely be fun. But we'll have live shows all next week. So whatever happens, you can tune in right here, and I'll be jumping in. So have a great weekend, everybody, and go Bolts, go Rays, and we'll talk to you on Monday.